such a beautiful day to reign over the kingdom.
This was the thought of little 6-year-old Vivian Velatores as she looked over the playground from top of the tallest slide, a bag of Archetype candies in her hands as she took in the sights of the other kids playing. It was one of those days when her whole family was busy with one thing or another, be it training or agenting or supporting. Everyone was busy, and thus had her placed in the watch of Julie Pocket's super daycare. Though, what was so super about it, no one ever seemed to know. Vivian had been having more and more days like these ever since her brother became an archetype. Not that she minded too much. Many of her friends from school also attended JPAs regularly, including her best friend, Troy Phillips. "Vivi!" The little boy called down from the bottom of the slide, a wavy-haired girl waving down to her friend before casually letting her body slip down the winding plastic path.
Hi, Troy. Candy?
Yeah, thanks. The two sat side by side, sharing the bag of hard candy treats, admiring the many designs and flavors that came with each piece, Troy doing his best to avoid any pieces that were too dark, too pale, too green, placing them back in the bag, or just giving them to Vivian.
You don't have to be such a baby. Candy is candy.
Vivian said, popping another faux archetype into her mouth. I don't like the dark ones. They always taste bitter.
What about the pale ones?
Too sour or too sweet.
The green ones?
Also too sour. Vivian pouted at her friend, believing him to be exaggerating the nature of the flavors, finding a pale pink piece with a silhouette of a flamingo on it. Eager to prove Troy wrong, the young girl teased her friend with the hard candy sphere before eating it.
Oh, well, more for me then.
The precocious girl felt her lips pucker as a sharp taste like sugarless pink lemonade made itself apparent on her taste buds. Told ya? The blonde girl could only shoot her friend a frustrated look through watery eyes as she forced herself to swallow the sour candy.
Excuse me?
The pair looked up to see another girl, around their age, standing before them. Her long curly brown hair bunched into twin tails, kitty t-shirt obscured by a sort of biker jacket that clashed with the long frilly pink skirt around her waist. Though the oddest thing about the sight in front of them was the kid behind her, holding her skirt off the floor.
Hi, who are you? My name is Clara Torticolis. Charmed to meet me, I'm sure.
The girl introduced herself, her voice putting on a faux fancy accent.
My name is Vivian, and this is my friend Troy.
Hello! And who's that guy? Troy asked, referring to the boy behind her, the child looking at the pair pleadingly.
He's of no consequence, merely a peon to keep my dress from getting dirty.
Clara stated, getting closer to the pair.
Vivian, may I have your candy? Huh? Sure. I can share some. I don't really want to, though.
Vivian thought, an idea cropping in her head.
I'll give her one of the sour pieces. Make her not want any more. No!
Clara tried out, making Vivian jump, worried her plan had been already figured.
I asked for your bag, not just a piece. I would like the whole bag. What? No way! This is my candy. My big brother got it for me. I'm not just gonna give it. It's not like I'm hoarding it. Just take a piece, okay? I said I want the bag!
Clara shouted, pushing Vivian, the little blonde girl retaliating with a shove of her own, knocking the frilly child back off her.
Whoa! Well, I'm not giving you anything now, you mean weirdo. Come on, Troy.
The girl clenched her fist around the candy bag, pulling her friend up to leave, only for the curly-haired Clara to grab her arm.
Last chance. I asked nicely. Give me the candy, please.
Vivian simply glared at Clara, the two girls silently daring each other to make another move, when the boy behind Clara tried to speak, voice extremely soft. Clara, let's just... He winced, as though he'd bitten his tongue despite his soft speech.
Quiet, peon. You know my rules.
Clara barked at him before looking back at Vivi.
May I, please, have your candy?
Vivian, frustrated, ripped her arm away from Clara's grasp, the spoiled girl knowing the answer from that alone, anticipating Vivi's next words.
For the last time, I said no!
The two girls shouted at the same time, Clara smiling mischievously as she pointed triumphantly at the blonde girl and declared,
Jynx!
A confused silence filled the air for a moment. The boy behind Clara flinched at her words as she held her pose.
Huh?
As soon as Vivian let out her voice, an invisible force smacked her across the face, sending her falling to the floor.
Ow! What? Ah!
She cried out, the feeling of something hitting her stomach making her curl up, tears in her eyes as the pain permeated through her body. Vivian! Troy cried out, kneeling to try and comfort his friend before looking back at Clara. What did you do? Teacher! They both cried out once more.
Jynx?
Troy cried in pain, his call for help interrupted by something clubbing him over the head, and he staffed too far to hear him.
What did...
Vivian groaned as her head felt something hit her again.
I jinxed you.
Clara stated, arms behind her as she circled the two downed children.
You know what that means? It means you can't speak until someone says your name 3 times. And if you do...
Cruelly, the twin-tailed girl kicked Troy, poor boy letting out a cry of pain that invited another mean-spirited attack from whatever force had taken hold of them.
You get hit! Now then, candy please.
Vivian rubbed her face, attempting to soothe the pain, as her fist kept tight around the bag of faux archetypes. After a moment, Clara pouted and began pulling the other girl's hair, Vivi doing her best to keep from saying anything, only a small gasp escaping her lips. Unfortunately, that seemed to activate whatever magic had cursed them, if only slightly. She felt her nose flicker harshly, instincts making her cover her face, releasing the candy bag for Clara's taking.
Thank you. I knew you'd see it my way.
Brunette smugly exclaimed, taking the bag for herself, rummaging through it, a moment before finding a rather dark sphere, flinging it to Vivian.
Here, I'm nothing if not generous, and I don't really like these bitter flavors anyway.
The hard candy hit Vivian's forehead, falling onto her lap as she glared at Clara through misty, tear-stained eyes.
You may thank me after one of us is picked up. Can't have you two telling on me after all.
The smug girl exclaimed, turning to take her leave, Vivian still trying to recover from the pain.
I think we'll be great friends from now on, you two. Just as long as you remember who's the princess here.
Vivian tried to get up to chase her, pain shooting through her stomach from the earlier hit, the soft squeak made only adding to her agony, forcing her to double over and clutch herself a moment for noticing the candy Clara had tossed her. It was a familiar sight, a deep dark blue with a funny face for a silhouette, strange lines coming out where its eyes should be. It was the same archetype as her brother's, the same brother she'd seen take some rather nasty hits, whether it was in a fight in the arena, sparring with their father, or beating on bullies. No matter how much it looked like he was hurt, her brother would always do his best to rise back up and keep fighting. That's what it means to be a fighter, to be an archetype, to be a Velatores. Slowly, the little girl rose up, popping the candy archetype into her mouth. There was definitely a bitterness to the taste, but more so spicy, sweet, like certain sodas she'd like to drink. A warmth filling her sore body, she made her way to Clara. Passing the slide, the little Velatores girl punched the side of the plastic toy, the loud thud catching the attention of the brunette princess. Bam!
Ow!
Clara cried out as she collapsed to the ground, nursing her cheek as Vivian stood over her, glaring the spoiled girl down. You hit me! I'm gonna tell a teacher! Before she could get up, the blonde hellion sat down on Clara's chest, grabbing her by the jacket and forcing her to look the little demon in the eyes.
What? I'm not gonna undo the Jynx. Not after you punched me. You can live as a mute forever.
This sentiment clearly didn't sit well with Vivian, as she furrowed her brow further, taking one hand off Clara's jacket, balling it into a fist as she rose it to her head.
Hey, if you punch me, I'll tell on you. I'll make sure you can't come to daycare anymore.
Vivian continued to raise her fist back behind her, threatening to let it loose as the twin-tailed princess beneath her trembled in fear.
Peon, don't just stand there. Help me.
She demanded, the boy unsure of what to do, looking between the two a moment.
I swear, if you don't, I'll never undo the Jynx. Is that what you want? Help me now!
Fearful, the boy attempted to help, only for Troy to grab him from behind, tossing him aside, giving him a hard look that made him freeze in place once more. Clara squirmed, hesitantly looking back up at the angry girl with a fist cocked back, rearing up one more time in preparation.
Okay. Vivian. There, now, get off of me!
Slowly, Vivian removed herself from the brunette, looking over to her best friend, the two sharing a triumphant smile a moment, before he pointed to himself, specifically his mouth.
Oh, right. Troy! Jynx!
Clara cried out, managing to capture Vivian once more. Vivi turned towards the antagonizing child, about to deliver another punch when the sight of the candy bag hurtling towards her head caught her sight. She couldn't help but notice how much slower it was than any of her family's attacks. Backstepping and to press her body against Clara's, Vivian caught the spoiled girl's arm with her far hand, stopping the attack. While her arm closest to the attack wrapped around Clara's, the young fighter shifting her weight and tossing the princess over herself.
Ah!
Before the princess could hit the ground, however, her momentum was halted, caught just before crashing by a much larger demon. Vivian.
Felix!
Vivian cried out, an invisible force hitting her once more, sending her to the ground, clutching her head, as tears formed in her eyes once more, too exhausted to hold them back any longer. What the hell? Hey, Vivian! Felix cried out, setting Clara down to try and comfort his sister, unknowingly having broken the spell on her. Troy, what's going on here? A smug smile crept on Clara's face, certain of her social victory. Vivian was too busy wailing, and Troy was still... That girl has some kind of cursing power! A real power! She's been using it to hurt us! Free from her ability, a cold sweat ran down Clara's face as the silver-haired stranger looked at her questioningly. It wasn't long before they were all in the office alongside their parents. Clara Diane Dorothea Alicia Torticolis! What in the world is wrong with you? The deep booming voice of Clara's father echoed in the room a moment, the girl holding back tears as she trembled in her chair, any bruises or injuries patched up by the daycare nurse, the same holding true for Vivian and Troy, on the other side of the room with their own families. Apparently, the young Torticolis girl had come across an archetype some time ago, likely lost among the storm of them from a previous Weeping Heavens reign, and thinking it candy, had plucked it off the ground and consumed it, finding out about its ability by chance.
We are so sorry about all of this. Tootie is such a polite child. I have no idea what in the world got into her. I can't apologize enough.
A young Catalan woman, Clara's mother, exclaimed to Jane Villatores and Flora Phillips.
Given how my son and Vivian turned out, you'll forgive me if I find that hard to believe. I certainly have strong feelings about the situation, but I can't imagine it's easy raising a child with a power. I can't imagine the nightmare this scenario is for you, Gray. What are you, a saint? Honestly, Jane, you can't be so nice. People will take it as a sign they can get away with anything around you. Sorry. It's just, I've been on the other side of this conversation, so I suppose I'm a bit more sympathetic is all.
From the bottom of my heart, we are deeply sorry to your families for our daughter's actions. Tootie should absolutely know better. This was completely unacceptable,
the father stated.
Tootie? Ow!
Vivian cried out, Felix pinching her cheek in reprimand. Don't go thinking you're in the clear here, little girl, the older brother warned as their fathers talked with Clara's. Alec, right? Honestly, I should be apologizing to you too. My daughter took things too far with how she handled things.
Huh? Dad, her archetype really hurt me and Troy. And she was gonna hit me in the head with the bag. Ow!
And you nearly took her head off with a punch and her arm with that judo flip. You're stronger than the other kids, Vivian. You can't just hit them or use fighting moves on them. We've been over this. Take it easy on your sister, Felix. I remember another precocious little kid that didn't quite know his own strength and got into fights with other kids pretty regularly. Gee, Dad, I wonder what the common factor is in both of these cases. The silver-haired young teen growled sarcastically, a nervous chuckle escaping his father's lips. After some discussion, it was decided that all children would still be allowed to attend JPS daycare, though special attention would need to be given to Clara to ensure no abuse of her archetype would occur. Soon after, the families departed for home, Vivian finding herself in her room, grounded, pouting on her bed, at the fact she'd been punished as well. Not allowed to train or play games, see her friends, or eat sweets for the rest of the week.
This sucks. Ugh, I didn't even get my candy back.
The little girl whined, punching her pillow in frustration, when something poked her shoulder.
Huh?
Whirling around, Vivian turned her head just in time to see an arm escaping into a dark puddle on her bed. Before that, too, faded. The only thing left behind being a little Ziploc bag of AC hard candies. A note stapled to it. This should hold you over until this week is past. Love, Felix. The little girl looked at the Ziploc bag filled to the brim with some of her favorite archetype flavors and hugged it to her chest, warmth permeating her body once more. A small laugh coming from her lips, knowing the bag was likely missing a piece she rather wanted to eat again. Oh well, suppose she'd have to settle for the next best thing and go bug her brother a bit.